Black Templars fans, I am so happy to let you know that we are finally going to break the monotony of having to review Ultramarine after Ultramarine after Ultramarine. Thank God we have a new action figure that came out not too long ago. So again, this is Sprues and Studs. Welcome on in. We are going to be taking a look at Bayard's Revenge, which is the special Emperor's Champion. And we will actually see if this action figure is going to surpass or at least be equal to the original Emperor's Champion that came out not too long ago. And with that being said, let's take a look.
I found a new use for a Nemesis Force Blade here. Very nice usage. Let's see what this named Emperor's Champion has to offer. Accessories galore. And here we are, action figure enjoyers. This is the return of the Emperor's Champion. Specifically, this is Bayard's Revenge. And obviously, we're going to take a very close look at this guy and see what is going on with him. So the first thing that we're taking a look at is the top of the action figure. And we can see that there is a wreath that is on his very, very shiny bald head. And the wreath has a little bit of shading that's going on, I believe. And then as we're moving down to the action figure's face, we can see that the eyes are actually screened very well on it. It's where the eyes should be. There is a very prominent scar right down here that's running along pretty much his whole entire face. And it's nice that it's also very, very shaded here. And speaking of shading, there is extensive shading that is actually going on where the cheeks are, as well as just the deeper recesses of his face. So very, very nice look here. So moving on to the pauldrons, we have a very interesting and very bold statement that says hate over here. And we do have the characteristic Black Templars look here. Flip around to the other side. More Black Templars action. And then there is a very, very cool heraldic shield. The thing that I'm going to say about this heraldic shield is that it actually does stick up here. So there's a raised layer that makes this actually obviously more 3D. Now as we move down to the middle of the section here, there's really nothing to see. It's a nice piece of black armor. And we're going to now look at the waist area and see what this Emperor's Champion has. So he's adorned with a pouch, a very, very interesting looking frag grenade here. And the frag grenade is got a lot of detail with these shading and then a lot of weathering with this light silver that we've seen before. We've got this very prominent belt buckle here with some highlights that are on top here that makes this thing jump out a little bit. And we have also a lantern here that we have seen before on the other Emperor's Champion action figure. And then moving on, you get to see a highlighted pouch as well as a holstered bolt pistol over here. Or it can actually be changed into probably a plasma pistol as you see down here. We see a piece of cloth that is dangling down. And the piece of cloth does have a little shading over here. That's a dark tan color. You do get to see this printed symbol over here. It's nicely screened. So that is the main body of the action figure here. And we're going to move on to the very, very many accessories that the Bayard's Revenge has. Starting off with the black sword. And the black sword is one of my most favorite swords that has ever been produced by JoyToy / Games Workshop. And there is a lot of cool things that you can see here. Once again, it has been weathered. There is a transition from a dark silver to the light silver. And on the other side, you can see that this is also engraved right here. The hilt of the sword, you can see more weathering going on with the same light silver action. And flipping around, more shading as well. Now we're going to pick up the helmeted version here. Now this helmeted version is very different from his predecessor in that he's got a lower wreath here, but he's got the characteristic Black Templars cross on here. This helmeted version has a nice lens, but it looks a little bit flat compared to the recent releases of the Space Marines, specifically the Hellblasters one, with the metallic looking lenses. Plasma pistol, something that we've seen before in very, very many different action figures. So you've got the red casing, the flat blue coils, lots of shading here in the silver areas. Put that down. Backpack, once again, reflects very, very similar to the other Emperor's Champion. Same looking backpack, nothing too much of a departure. The only thing that makes this thing really interesting is that it's got these purity seal ribbons that seem to be flowing in the air, in the wind. And it's got plenty of iconography as well as things that are screened onto this very soft piece of plastic. Down here you have your 2 chains of devotion. This is the one that is going to be wrapped around the plasma pistol, and this one is going to be wrapped around the black blade. Very heavy weathering, very heavy highlighting as well, so it makes it stand out with a lot of character. And the final thing that we're going to be looking at is these 2 pendants over here. And this is also not present on the regular Emperor's Champion. So you have your double Aquila on one, and then your characteristic Black Templars look on here. And both of these things are very soft plastic, so you can loop it around his head. So one thing that I'm going to do here is do a side-by-side comparison between this Bayard's Revenge Emperor's Champion and your regular Emperor's Champion and see exactly what the differences are. Okay, straight off the bat, you can obviously see that there's a clear difference in the helmet area. You've got a bareheaded version on the right-hand side and then a helmeted version on the left-hand side. However, we have to compare apples to apples, so we're going to compare the helmeted version versus the helmeted version. And clearly that this Bayard's Revenge one has a lot more character on it, as you can see here, with the Black Templars symbol adorned right across the helmeted area. So that's one major difference that we see here. And moving on to the Black Blade, you can obviously see that there is a difference between the engravings here. So this has an Imperator Lux and this has a Deus Imperator. Sorry, I don't speak Latin, so I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation of these things. And on this other side, it says Excelsior Ira. And this other side says Gloria Maxima. So there is a difference between what is engraved on the swords. However, as you can see here, the general body is completely the same with the sword, with really no difference whatsoever. And moving on, we have the Heraldic Shield. The Heraldic Shield on the generic Emperor's Champion is a flat one. It's just printed on. However, this one is a 3D version, as you can see. The generic version's pauldron has just a regular Black Templar sign. This one's got hate on it. Flipping over to the other side, it is 100% the same. And then this one actually comes with a bolt pistol, while this one comes with a plasma pistol. So looking at the body of this action figure, you can take a look at this loincloth here. And the loincloth seems to be a lot more pronounced on this one versus this. And clearly this one is a darker color versus the lighter one over here. This Emperor's Champion has a frag grenade, while this one does not. Both of them have this characteristic lantern. As we are on the back side, let's just take a look at the ribbons. And just by cursory glance, the backpack and the ribbons are 100% the same. There is no difference whatsoever. And the final thing I didn't point out is clearly the Bayard's Revenge one has a pendant, while the regular Emperor's Champion does not. So that concludes the review of your Bayard's Revenge Emperor's Champion, as well as the side-by-side comparison of the Emperor's Champions themselves. So let me wrap this one up real quick.
And so we have yet another Emperor's Champion reviewed and in the bag. And what do I think of this guy? Well, I mean, the regular Emperor's Champion, I think, is a fantastic figure, and that doesn't really deviate to this guy. I think that having a kind of named Emperor's Champion really brings more life to this general action figure itself. So, again, there's a lot of things to like about this thing. The first thing that gravitates toward is pretty much the helmet. It is a very unique helmet with that Black Templars cross across his face. And once again, it's going to be a unique helmet that you're not going to see in any of the other action figures that JoyToy is going to produce. Also, I really like this bear head here, as you can get a lot of character from him. He's got this very mean grimace on his face, as well as that scar that runs across, so that's one attractive point on this action figure. And what can I say about the Black Blade? The Black Blade is one of my favorite blades that has been ever produced by JoyToy. So do I recommend this to everybody? Well, I would say, yeah. I mean, this is a fantastic representation of the Black Templars chapter. Everything has been distilled and put into this guy. So with that being said, I hope you did actually enjoy the comparison between the Bayard's Revenge one and the regular Emperor's Champion, and got a little bit of flavor from what is the difference between the both of them. And with that being said, once again, thank you for tuning in, brothers and sisters of the chapter. I appreciate all the support that you've been giving me as of late, and keep those subscribers coming, as I appreciate you sharing this channel with everybody else. And once again, this is Sprues and Studs, and I'll see you all in the next one.